Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, this is Charlie Newton from Splash Youth Arts Workshop. We're here one more time for an art class. So today we're going to draw again. Like I always say, drawing is the foundation of everything. So today we're going to draw a book. And I use my Bible to draw. And I just want us to see the three-dimensionality, how to do the three-dimensional forms. And this will be a challenge to me, so I know it'll be a challenge to you. So get out your drawing paper, get out your HB pencil or 2H or some pencil with an H on it, and we will get started. So like I said, you can use an HB pencil. I'm going to use an HB. You could also use, no, I changed my mind. I'll use a 2H pencil. I want a hard edge. And what I'm going to be looking at is the three-dimensionality. I want to see the boxes that's in this picture to demonstrate. So when I look at this, I want to line up my drawing, and I'm drawing from life today. You're looking at a photograph of this setup. So what's natural for you to do is to do a drawing like this, do a rectangle. But since this is three-dimensional, we're going to have to make sure that these lines are at angles, at the correct angles, and then it would begin to look more 3D. So what I do is I hold my pencil up to the book like this. So I'll hold my pencil up to a line on the book. Say this is the bottom line. Now I'll close one eye, and by closing one eye, I flatten out the book so that the book won't look as three-dimensional in real life. So I close one eye, and then I angle the pencil to that line. I place this pencil visually on that actual angle that I'm looking at. And then I keep my pencil at the same angle, and I place it on the paper, and then I'll know what that angle is. If you're drawing from a photograph, of course, you don't have to close one eye. You can just put your pencil on the page, on the photograph, and see what that angle is. So this is a slight angle. I'm sketching. As you can see, I may have the book this low or that low, I'm not sure. And the top is like this. The top is sort of at this angle here. Now, it's going to be 3 dimensions. So I'm going to indicate 3 dimensions. It's not 3 dimensions. I'm drawing on a flat 2-dimensional surface. So a book is for me, a book is hard to draw. So this is basically the angle of that line here. Now, something's going on with this book that we call foreshortening. So it's going to open up slightly. To make it look more realistic, I have to open the front or the bottom part of this drawing up a little bit. So it's going to be wider here than it is here. Then you have a page on top. So I'm still sketching. This is like a gesture drawing. You've heard me speak of gestures. Now, I'm taking a mundane object and I'm going to try to make it look interesting. So, I'm going to have to make a lot of changes. So, I'm making changes in my sketch now. But since I have the basic angle of these lines, I keep remeasuring. We call this taking measurements. Keep remeasuring. Now, I'm going to try to express myself with these lines. So there's an S curve here. Where this page is folded over. And there's a line in the middle where the text is separated. There's a slight S curve here. So now I've begun deciding to make decisions about how I'm going to express what I'm seeing. Again, I can always make changes. I'm also trying to fit this on the page, but I'm just going to sketch, keep sketching. This page folds over, but it comes out to here. So, to show you what I'm looking at, if I was drawing a box, I'm looking at something like this. And it's repeated a lot of times. The cover is wider than the pages, and the pages are leaning in this way and leaning in that way. So they're laying down. So these angles here are very important to me. These angles here. And I've got this area here is foreshortened. So I'm going to probably do something like that. And we know that these lines meet somewhere in at the vanishing point. Same thing over here. So I could just draw I could sort of draw any book, but I want to draw this particular book that I'm looking at now. I will do more drawings like this. I'm drawing with an HB pencil because I picked up my HB and I forgot that I had said I was going to use a 2H. Now what I'm doing is I'm measuring with my eye. I'm doing like a contour drawing, and I'm letting my eye run across the page to try to discern how long that page is, how long that page seems to be. So I don't need this line. I could use that line. Maybe I'll keep that line on there for a minute. I'll show you how I could use that line. So I'm still sketching. You see my sketch marks? My lines, sketch lines? So when you're sketching, you're drawing a lot of lines. We can see this triangle here where the pages are glued together. So now I'm at the point where I'm actually trying to draw. I'm really trying to draw. Well, let's see. But I'm still sketching. If I was painting, I could paint this book the same way. Matter of fact, the traditional way to paint would be to paint this book the same way I'm sketching it. Just model. It's like modeling clay. We'll do some more drawings, and then after we've drawn for a while, we'll do some paintings. First in watercolor, and then maybe we will paint in acrylics, maybe, or oils, so that we can talk more about modeling. Now, this is just an exercise for you. This is an exercise. Now, I'm not going to use a ruler. If I was so concerned that this looks exactly like what the book, I would use a ruler for these lines here. But I don't want to use a ruler. A ruler almost makes it too easy in a sense. It does too much work. I don't want any crutches here. I want to practice drawing. Remember, what we're doing is just practice. So those pages are laying on the cover of the book. This would be the spine here, where you can see how the pages are glued together. This S curve follows that one. And I want you to see how I want you to see how the type follows the page. So now it's the time when I'm really making some decisions. I will go back with my kneaded eraser probably. This line here is where the type is. And so I think maybe so is this line here. And then down the center there's a space between the types. So I'm just modeling, just like you would model clay. I mean, it's literally just like you would model clay. So I'm trying to decide where this page is. And I'm using the point of my pencil now. And I'm back to using the side. So the space between the text on the left-hand side is almost directly center, but because how this page folds back down, this loop here, it moves the center of the text, it moves it off center a little bit. So those are the little things that you look for. You know, some people would actually try to write each letter of the text. And that's great for the super realist, but I'm not a super realist artist. Okay, so now that for me, that's basically what I think I see. Now let's switch pencils. So this was a HB. It's amazing how much you can get out of one pencil. Let's get a B pencil. No matter what I draw, I try to make it interesting, even if I'm just practicing. This is a B pencil. It's not 2B, it's a B. And I'm going in slowly, trying to put some definite lines. Now, one thing I could do, and I probably will, I don't want to do it that way, but I can turn my paper. So I'm building things up slowly. Now, some people draw with their paper at an angle. If you do that, you will lose the perspective. So I only turn the paper to make the lines you're drawing easier. For instance, if I want to draw a straight line here, it's easier if I turn my paper this way. So these lines that's bending, I can make them straighter now because I'm right-handed. So it's more difficult for me to draw a straight line at this angle because of the my joints, the circles that's in my joints. This I can turn this way too. Do I want that line at that angle? I'm not sure. I forgot. I want this line at this angle. Again, this is freehand. I don't even think I've used that term before, but the type of drawing that we do, it's called freehand. That means we're not using rulers. See how I'm taking my time and slowly building this thing up? Because as I'm doing that, I'm changing my mind about things. I'm making some decisions. Now I can indicate some details that I see that would make this book that I'm drawing look a little bit more naturalistic, and showing the separation of this page here, these pages in this area, might help me out there. And the crinkle here may help me. Now, I think this side is probably not long enough, but I'm not sure. So I close one eye and measure it. So I can either make this longer or this side shorter. I think I'm going to make this side shorter. So I'm going to put that line here. Move this line to here. Move this line to maybe here. And so what I'll do is get rid of this line to remind me of what I'm doing. I'll even get rid of this one. And I'll move this up here. Let's see. So I really want to enhance this right here. I'm going to take this line in more. Okay, I think I can go with that. Because my paper is so small, I had to I'm still making changes. So it all comes to what's going to make the drawing look right. I need this drawing to look like I'm drawing what I see. So what you do is exaggerate. If I exaggerate too much, it'll look like a cartoon. I want to exaggerate just enough to make the drawing do what I want it to do. So I'm not held captive by what I see. Because I understand I'm drawing on a flat two-dimensional surface, and I'm trying to imitate three-dimensionalities. I'm still using my B pencil. Remember, we have a kneaded eraser that we can use for details. So, well, I'm going to use the art gun for this one. So when I take that out, you can see what I'm doing. So I'm touching the book with my eyes. Now, by putting this little curve in the edge of the pages here, I'm thinking about this book that's been used. These are just hash marks, which represent the pages in the book. Now I'm looking at small details. So I'm always mixing my contour drawing with the gesture. So the sketch is basically a gesture. Here's a line. My pencil fell and made that squiggly line there. I'll get rid of it. I don't have to, but I will. So there's some sketch lines that I'll leave in, some that I'll do away with. But can you see the book begin to appear slowly? So I'm getting rid of, right now I'm getting rid of lines that I don't want on here. So some of these sketch marks I don't need anymore, so I just get rid of them. You notice I'm drawing the entire picture at once. I hadn't mentioned that in a while, that you draw the entire picture at once. Don't just stay stuck in one area. Go from one side to the next. So same with painting. So you build the areas up evenly at the same time. Because every time you do something on one side of your picture, you've done something on the opposite side. You've changed it somehow. So when I use my darker pencil, I'm going to draw in more details. Using the point of my pencil for this part. In fact, I'm going to let this go out a little bit more. So I'm using the kneaded eraser to clean things up. I had mentioned I was going to do that. I think I'm ready to go to another pencil now. Excuse me. Yes, I'll go to another pencil. I'll go to a darker pencil. Let's go to let's play around with the F pencil. And I'm going to the 3B. Make sure it's sharp. Now again, what I decide to leave is going to be very important. What I decide to do away with is going to be pretty important too. Okay, so see that line there? I want this line to be heavier. Finding the point for my pencil. I'm using line variation. Here I'm just repeating the S curve. And do some cross hatching for the shadows. Okay, so let's see what we can do with the text. Let's get a very dark pencil. So all I want to do, I'm using the 5B. I just want to indicate what the text looked like. Notice how I'm holding my pencil? And I have to keep the same S-curve going. So this curve here, I need to keep. So I need to maintain the curve. And indicate what I think I see. So these are just some squiggly lines. Again, if I wanted to, I could just put a ruler here like that and make sure I stop in the right place. But this, again, I'm doing freehand drawing. So just vary these lines up like they are sentences or verses. So I'm going to use this 5B pencil for the rest of the drawing. I may go to a heavier pencil, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to use my kneaded eraser to go back up through this text that I'm indicating. So now it's a matter of, okay, now how do I finish this off? By use of line. So I'm going back to my HB pencil, sharpen it. The shadow, the slight shadow under the book is very important. The small shadow, the skinny shadow. This is my Bible that I'm drawing. Okay. Just clean up where I can clean up a few edges. I still can do more with this line here. It's an old Bible, okay? That's why these pages don't look totally even. Some dog ears in that Bible. And just always put your initials and your age. Wow. That time went so fast. Thank you again for joining us for our free art lesson. This has been Charlie Newton, and this has been Splash. As always, remember, art is for everyone. Bye-bye.